There are places that history forgets, and then there are places that refuse to be forgotten. Some towns fade quietly into the past, others leave something behind. Something that lingers. Long before streetlights and tourists, before the stories and the warnings, this place was alive. People lived here, worked here, died here. And some say, some never left. High above the desert, tucked into the side of a mountain, sits the town of Jerome, Arizona. Once a booming mining town, loud, dangerous, and full of life. Men descended into the earth every day, chasing copper in tunnels that were never truly safe. Explosions, collapses, accidents. Death was not rare here. It was expected. Above ground wasn't much calmer. Saloons, gambling halls, violence in the streets. A town built on risk and survival. And when the mines finally closed, the people left. But not everything went with them. Because stories began to surface. Whispers of footsteps in empty buildings, shadowy figures caught in photographs, voices heard where no one stood. Visitors would arrive curious and leave unsettled. Some claimed they were touched. Others said they were followed. A few refused to ever come back. One building in particular drew attention. A former hospital perched high above the town. A place where suffering once echoed through the halls. Patients who never recovered. Nurses who never clocked out. Some people say if you stand there long enough, you can still feel it. Not fear, but presence. What makes places like this unsettling isn't just the history, it's the silence. The kind that feels too heavy, too aware. Like something is listening back. Over time, more stories surfaced, locals sharing experiences quietly, travelers documenting things they couldn't explain. Some believed it was imagination, others believed it was energy. But almost everyone agreed on one thing: this town feels different. Maybe it's just history, maybe it's folklore, or maybe some places hold on to moments that never fully ended. Moments that echo, moments that wait, moments that remind us not every story stays in the past. And some places are better remembered than revisited. Despite the fascinating history, Jerome still has the modern experience to answer for. What is going on in this town right now? We've actually touched on this topic before when we talked about our own grievances with Jerome and their dealings. You can find the video for that down in the link in the description below. But let's listen to reviews other people have had regarding the Grand Hotel and the ghost tours up in Jerome. This review for the Jerome Grand Hotel talks about how they were promised a tour inside the boiler room and inside of the hotel, and they decided, well, they're going to spend money on the ghost supplies so that they can actually have a good experience, and then they were denied a tour afterwards once they got to the hotel. They felt like they were lied to, and then they had an issue where after being told they couldn't tour, they let someone else down in the boiler room. After complaining about the situation, that was when the staff allowed them to walk a couple feet into the boiler room. But this shows a lack of decorum, a lack of care for the customer, possibly because they saw they had equipment or because of some sort of prejudice. But either way, this hotel is a reflection on the town and how they treat their visitors. This next review shows a repeat visitor to Jerome and the Grand Hotel, and while they didn't have a gripe with specific staff members, they did notice a deterioration in the customer service in general. The rest of the people who greeted you at the front desk didn't greet you at all, and appeared to not want to be there. Besides the staff, they did also notice that the electrical outlets and the amenities that were supposed to be given there didn't have the quality that they used to have. This last review that we'll be going over talks about how they called ahead of time and booked, and the booker told them that they were going to be able to take videos and pictures. But when they got there and actually went on the tour, they had the tour guide come up to them and harass them and say, "Are you recording me?" And when they were just recording themselves, they just wanted to have that experience to remember, but it was ruined by the tour guide. This kind of reflects part of our own experience, because this review goes on to talk about how the tour guide felt like the guest was a rival ghost hunting crew, and when we had tried to book up there to investigate a place, they were telling us that we could only use their specific equipment. And we didn't feel right about that, because if we are only allowed to use the equipment provided, how do we know that that equipment hasn't been tampered with? Thank you, everyone that has watched this far. If you enjoyed this content, please give us a follow down below. You can find us on TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, and we will be posting more often as we are back and we're starting to film our new season. Thanks for watching.